Hey team, today I'll be giving you a lesson on how to iron your dress one shirts for a parade night. Right, so the first thing you want to do is make sure you have your iron, it's turned on and it's set to a cotton temperature. And you also want to make sure you have your dress one shirt that you'll use for a parade night. Right, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to start with the back of our shirt. That means we want to have the front buttons done up, not all the way up to the top, making sure you're skipping the top one. Pull your dress one shirt over the head of your ironing board, making sure it's flat, no wrinkles, just like your dress three shirt. You want to grab your iron, make sure it's nice and steamy. You want to start doing long strokes with this iron and making sure you're not going over this crease. I'll get to that in a second. Once you've done this side of the back, you want to move it over and do the same thing. Right, getting rid of the lumpy bits, lumps and bumps, and long strokes. While maintaining a good iron. I use water sometimes to help me on the back of the shirt. It just helps get the extra creases out. And don't worry about that, that'll go on away in a few minutes. Right, team, another thing I just want to bring up. This crease here, the two on the side of your shirt, the back of your shirt, you want to make sure they're the length of a pen. See mine here, perfect length, and you want to make sure they're nice and flat. We don't want any sticky out creases, right? So when you're ironing, you want to make sure those are nice and flat and that they don't go all the way down here, right? Just a length of a pen, that's why I use this. Right, so now we've covered the back of the shirt, what we want to do is we want to keep turning it around until we reach the front of our shirt. Same thing as the back, pulling it all the way down and getting out all the lumps and bumps. Right, grab your iron, make sure it's on, and start doing long, heavy strokes up and down your shirt. Getting underneath the pocket, making sure you're not hitting any buttons or else they will melt. It's not a pretty sight. Going up here, around behind the collar, making sure there's no creases above your shirt pocket. Right. Once that side of the shirt's done, flip it around, pull it down, and continue on this side. Getting in between the buttons, but not on top of the buttons. Top of the pocket, little bits under the pocket, making sure it's flat, and good. Right, now we're going to move on to our collar. Right, now we've done the two front sides of our shirt, we're going to move on to the collar. So what we want to do, we want to bring the middle of the shirt straight down, so the buttons are running right down the middle of your ironing board, making sure the collar's nice and lined up here. And what you want to do, you want to grab your iron, make sure it's still on. Make sure your collar is above your button here. Right, so your top button's here. You want to make sure it's below the top button and not below the second button, just above like that. Right, then we want to get the iron nice and close, stamping this down. Making sure you're not creating any excess creases. Nice and flat. Use a little bit of water. Make sure it's nice and flat. It's as easy as that. There's no tabs that you have to put behind any other part of the shirt. It's just making sure it's nice and flat. Right, so once we've finished with our collar, we want to start on our sleeves. So as you see here, I've brought my shirt off the point of the board and I've laid out my sleeve here with the crease on the top of my sleeve here, nice and in line, so it's not folded over, that the crease is here or under. You want to make sure the crease is nice and in line with that. Grab your iron, make sure it's on, and you want to go along that crease, making sure you're not making any train tracks, going along this whole sleeve Pulling it tight. Doing this bit of the sleeve, going around the back. Oh. Easy as. Want to flip that chute around. Try not to crease the rest of our uniform. And you want to do it the same thing on this side. Making sure you're not making another train track over here. And you're getting rid of all of the creases. One sleeve down, one more to go. Bringing your chute around. Lining up our sleeve crease here. Making sure there's no creases underneath the sleeve. And we start. Making sure this bit's not sticking up. Nice and flat. Want to make a nice sharp crease at the bottom here as well. Right to the end here. Perfect. Same thing on this side. Making sure it's nice and flat. And going along your sleeve. Nice. Right, so another thing I have to cover is your brassard. A few of you will have these and a few of you won't. Right, this will slide over your right sleeve when you're wearing your dress ones. So basically when you're ironing this, you want to make sure there's no creases in both sides of it. And you want to make sure there's a nice sharp crease going down the middle of your brassard. Right, and you want to just iron both sides of it until it looks nice. Right. Right, so that concludes my lesson. I have my finished product hanging up on a coat hanger. Alright, so I have my brassard on my right shoulder, nicely ironed, a sharp crease going down my left, and my right sleeve, my rack lines on both my epaulets, my name tag, first ears, don't worry about this, you won't have one yet, a nice flat collar, and no creases whatsoever. Ready to take to a normal parade night. Right, I hope you all are staying safe. I hope you enjoyed my lesson. Thank you for listening. Have a good one.